This video is made for adult collectors because, well...
Monkey.
I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted. Say
I'm recording this standing up because I feel like it. Alright, I wasn't sure if Studio Series Primal was going to top the Takara one. I have way too much fun with the Takara one. But lo and behold, the Studio Series one is just fantastic. It's tied with Prime in being my favorite Rise of the Beast toy so far. It's great, though it ain't perfect. It does some small things that bug me, but we'll get to that later. First thing I want to touch on is the price. It is a full, what is it, $55 or whatever it is in the States, and it's not big. But big hasn't been the point of leader class since like the beginnings of Studio Series. What do you get for your $55 US? Well, you get the figure. You also get engineering I've never seen on a Primal before. You get some very nice paint and color separation using actual parts to separate the color, like a lot of parts on this guy. You get two halves of an articulated chain all put together with pins, two swords, an axe for Prime, and the transwarp key that is so beautifully painted. Not to mention the plastic on this guy is super dense. The part walls are a bit thicker than average, not by much, but it's noticeable, especially when you hold it. I need to sneeze. Ow. And it just feels better than the average Studio Series toy. Oh, and his articulation is a lot more than normal, but we'll get to that later. But this is like Kingdom Rodimus. It appears expensive on the surface, but once you handle it, it's fantastic. I love the detail on this guy. Like I said, a majority of the color separation is very well painted stuff or actual part detail using pieces to separate the toy's color, which adds to the parts count, which actually makes it very nice. So it looks a lot more realistic than any of the other Studio Series figures from Rise of the Beast we've gotten so far. Not saying that they're all bad, it's just this one, just the extra effort, you can tell where it's coming from on Primal and it feels great. I'm so glad they did the battle damage and it's asymmetrical. That was what the YOLO Park one did, and I wasn't sure if they were going to carry it over to this, but they did, which, speaking of the YOLO Park one, seeing them next to each other makes the YOLO one look a tad off to me. This Primal is based off concept art, or more accurately, a close final render of that Primal, because Primal's design from the publicly available concept art didn't actually change a lot during production. The concept things he does have that stick out a lot is the chain and the original Beast Wars face, because when you see it in the film, like you see his face very briefly, it's Ron Perlman more so than this. But why no faceplate? Well, Evan, the designer, said somewhere, I can't remember exactly where he said it, but he did say it somewhere, that they were only given art/CAD or whatever they get with the mouth and not the faceplate, so they didn't know he was going to have a faceplate in the film until the trailer dropped. Hopefully with the eventual ape link they'll probably make from this mold, they give us an alternate Primal head with the mask on so that we can just swap it out, because it is on a ball joint. So stuff that comes in the box, you get the chain, the swords, an axe, and the key. The key splits in half and it's very tight, and I'm not going to try and do it because I'm afraid I'm going to snap the peg. The swords are nice, and the axe for Prime, I love that he has his axe now. It's very cool. But the chain, a very cool addition, but it's my biggest robot mode problem. The chain is articulated, but in a weird way, it swaps joint orientation every segment. I really wish it was like the YOLO Park chain and less so like this, because it makes trying to give him a dynamic swing hard. And yes, you can give it to Battle Trap, but I'm going to keep it on Primal. Now, the coolest thing about this toy is its posing. I mean, that's what these modern toys are built for now. That's one of their two gimmicks, posing and articulation. But this toy's posing is on like a next level.
Someone give me a real fight! It's a fight you want? You got one. On guard. It's about to go down on guard. It's about to go down on guard. It's about to go down on guard. It's about to go down.
call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view.
Anyways, Primal has a lot of articulation, like a lot. It's nuts. It definitely, like I said before in the video, on the surface it doesn't look like it's worth the full liter price, and then you mess with it and you're like, oh, I get it now. So the head is on a ball joint. However, it really just rotates. It can look up and down a little bit, but I really wish it could look up more. It's kind of annoying. It's just a stiff ball joint. Shoulders can do full 360. They can go in and out. The shoulder pads can move out of the way to accommodate all of that. You have bicep rotation, 90-degree elbow bend, wrist rotation, and the two fingers are split and they are articulated, and they're also articulated in the monkey mode, same way. Also, backwards butterfly joints, those are dedicated, and those aren't for the transformation. They're for this mode and for monkey mode, purely for articulation, and that is very, very nice to see. You have waist rotation. They can do a full 360. Legs can go forward. They can go back, in and out. Thigh rotation. And the sculpt kind of gets in the way going inward, but outward you're perfectly fine. There's no hindrance there. Oops. 90-degree bend at the knee. You can unpeg it to get a little bit more knee bend. And as you saw earlier, it does just like to unpeg itself. Little bit bothersome. This one doesn't do it as much as this one does. So yeah, and the feet can go forward a little bit. They can go back that far. You have crazy ankle pivot and a toe bend. So he is, his knees come unpegged again. He is extremely, extremely posable. And then the chain, probably should look at this. Joint, 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 nothing, joint, 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 joint. And I don't like that. I just wish it was all one directional joint, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, super, super duper articulated, more articulated than this man, who was pretty posable. Like, I mean, he still is pretty posable, but this is just easily the most fun I've had messing with the Rise of the Beast toy so far. So that's a fantastic robot mode through and through. My problems are more so in the accessories, but they are kind of minor in the grand scheme of this robot. Now, Monkey. Now, his transformation does some very similar like things you've seen before on Primals, and then some very new things. The forearms and the legs are very, very new. But the torso is kind of Kingdom mixed with the mainline one-ish. So to start with, we're going to get the torso transformed, because that's probably the best place to start. Unpeg this, and then you just want to take this section here, flip it around to straighten it out. Now we're going to open up the torso, pull this up, fold the monkey head forward, rotate it, close it back up, and then fold the monkey head back up again. And the reason you do that is so that this can fit over the head, like so. Then you take this section, bring it down, and it will clip into place. Now this back section here does also clip into place. This little rib cage bit here will hug that sculpted part around the clip. So you just push like that, it'll click into place. I know a couple people had issue with like not figuring out how this sits. I just push from here and it clicks, and now it's in place. Now you can fold the monkey head back down. Now the arms. These are interesting, and these are also kind of weird. The instructions aren't 100% clear on how this works, and it was kind of frustrating. I had to go to MGO for this, but to start with, we're going to straighten these out, open this up, and out pops this assembly. So we're going to rotate this hand, the monkey hand, rotate the robot hand. That way you can spin this around, and then I just rotate that back. Then you bring this out, close this up, close this back up. It should peg in. There you go. And there you have, rotate that, and open the hand a little bit. Monkey arm. But you have to do it in that specific order of operations, otherwise it just doesn't work. And the instructions are pretty bad at trying to point that out to you. And I'll show you the robot mode now, because he comes packed in alt mode. You open this up. You open this section up. Bring this around. You push these until they click, the fingers. You rotate this, rotate that, rotate this around. Then rotate the monkey hand back. Bring it in. Thumb has to be facing out. And then it will peg into place. These are interesting because they collapse in on themselves. So you open this, you open the knee up, and then you bring the foot down, the monkey foot down. And then you just sort of compress the whole thing like that. And then this will peg into the back of the leg, fold the knee pad in, bring the foot up and bend the toe in And there you have a monkey leg. And that's it. There you have monkey mode. Monkey mode is a bit of a downgrade from the robot mode in cleanliness and solidity. Like the legs especially are super awkward and the tabs don't like holding together a lot of the time. But the rest of the monkey works super well. I love the textures and the new monkey parts that are exposed. Yes, I know, gorilla or whatever, but it's funny because of the Top Gear monkeys thing, and it just, I'm a Top Gear fan, I'm doing this.
Help yourself to my brakes, why not? I've lost a skull. Monkeys.
The new head is so detailed and looks fresh. The articulated mouth is nice. Like, I love the way it's sculpted, the green eyes. You can't really store the chain properly anywhere on this guy, but the swords stay on the back, akin to the mainline Voyager and literally every other Primal that's existed ever. This is a good monkey. It's not my favorite monkey mode that we've gotten off of Primal, but it's still pretty nice. But is it my favorite Primal? I'm still debating that. It's probably the breast? What the f- It's probably the best Primal toy we've gotten, especially if you want articulation, well-engineered monkey that feels a tad different from the rest. But I'm not sure if I like it more than the Takara thing that still doesn't have a proper size class name. I think it's Ultimate, but I'm calling it Leader. I don't know which one I like more because I have just as much fun messing with either or. I do recommend this one. I think it's worth the price and the accessories are nice and they work for both Primal and other figures so that it kind of works like a ROG situation, and I really dig that. Just go get it. He just released. Go get one. But that's my look at Studio Series Optimus Primal. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I think I'm going to record audio standing up more often now. This is not bad. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.